Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you exactly how to use the lino printing technique, and I'm going to show you from start to finish how to create your design onto lino, then how to cut it out, and then finally how to print with your lino. If you're new to my channel, my name is Gemma and I create weekly art content, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of my uploads. Let me know in the comment section what you think of my printing at the end of the video. So let's get straight into this printing. When getting started on my lino, I draw my design onto tracing paper and then transfer my design onto lino. I do this to ensure that my design is accurate. This would also be a good option if you've got a drawing you're really proud of and would like to use it again for your own lino. I also find this method works really well for adding text to my lino or block printing, as when you're using this printing method, you need to make sure that you're actually drawing it out back to front on your lino. If you don't do this and you just write it out normally, when you come to print, your writing will actually print out backwards. Once I've transferred my design onto the lino, I like to fill it in with pen so I can clearly see what areas of my lino I'm going to cut out. And I won't then accidentally remove a vital section of my print. Now I've prepped my lino, I can start removing out any areas that I don't want. So any areas that are currently blue will be removed from my relief print. I begin by using a knife tool to score around the edge of my design. The particular tools I'm using are interchangeable and I have linked them in the description box below in case you're interested in checking those out. I find these to be a good tool to get started with for beginners, and they're really comfortable and easy to use. I'm not pressing through the entire thickness of my lino as I don't want to cut through it. I'm just scoring the edges of my design roughly halfway down. I find this to be a good method when it comes to removing more of the lino, as it leaves a good clean line where I have scored. If you are enjoying my video, make sure you subscribe. When it comes to removing the rest of the lino, I change the head to a shallow V gouge. This gives me a good level of control on cutting out the lino, as some of the details within the B body of my design are quite small. This tool will allow me to get in there without accidentally removing extra sections of my design. For today's video, I'm using Easy Cut Lino, which, as the name suggests, is really easy to cut through. Some of the more traditional types of lino for printing can be more difficult to cut through, especially the Hessian backed lino. To soften those types of lino, you have to warm them up a bit and they can be a bit of a hassle. I also find those types of lino can cause more accidents. The traditional styles of lino can slide about if you don't have it on a safety block, and because it's harder, it's not as easy to cut through, which can cause you to slip and cut yourself. The Easy Cut Lino is a lot safer to use as it has a rubber texture to both sides, it doesn't slide about, and you can cut through the lino like butter with the Easy Cut Lino. If you are a beginner, I definitely recommend the Easy Cut Lino. I've linked some in the description box below. Also, to ensure you're safe when cutting your lino, make sure your supporting hand is behind your cutting hand to reduce the risk of cutting yourself with your lino tools. I've now switched out my lino cutting tool to a deep U gouge, as I want to remove large sections of my lino and this head is much bigger than the shallow V. I find this process so therapeutic. It's really satisfying removing little bits of lino. And again, because I cut around the main shapes with a knife, the lines are going to be much neater. I'm trying to cut out my lino around halfway down in thickness, as I want to make sure that I'm not going to have lots of raised areas that will pick up ink when I come to print. I also really like how this creates a pattern in the lino. I think it looks really pretty. I'm going to finish cutting all of this out before getting on to the inking. The inks I'm going to use today are block and lino printing inks, and they are quite thick and sticky in texture and consistency. A little ink really does go a long way, so I just put a small amount onto a piece of paper and roll it out with my printing roller. This evenly spreads the ink on the roller, ready to roll onto the lino. As you can see, I work the roller over the lino, inking up the raised areas of the design. The layer of ink is thin and flat, which is what you want to get a good print. I'm going to be using this as my testing print to see how it comes out, and I place my paper over the top. And with a clean roller, I'm going to apply pressure over the top to transfer the design onto my paper. And there we see the very first test print, and I can see that some of the relief was not cut down deep enough, so I'm actually now going to use my lino cutting tools again and just refine those areas and cut those out. This should now give me a much better finish when I come to print again. I'm going to use that process again, using the ink roller on the lino and the clean roller on top of the paper. If, like me, you don't have a printing press at home, I recommend this method as you can achieve a pretty decent result. I then experimented with placing my lino down on the paper to print, but I found that the print came out a little patchy. I definitely recommend placing the paper on top, as you are then able to apply an even pressure over the top of the relief. For my final print, I made sure I applied a really good even layer of lino printing ink, making sure it was across the entire design, and then I really go to town on rolling over the top of it. You can actually see the print coming through my paper, so I knew it was going to pick up well. This print comes out with a really nice flat finish. If you wanted to, you could print over the top of a watercolor wash to add a splash of colour to your work, or you could even print with linos on top of fabrics. So this would be a great technique to use if you have a textile project in mind. Okay, so there you have it. That was our printing for today's video. Now, I'm not a full-blown expert in lino printing, but it is a process that I do enjoy, and it's something that I would like to get better at. I personally really enjoy mono printing, so if that's a video you would be interested in seeing, let me know in the comments section below and I will get that one made for you. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my uploads. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.